What happens if Donald Trump loses?
I don't think it'd be good for the country. I have a feeling that people aren't going to be friendly this time.
Do you think Kamala can win legitimately?
No. No way. Not with only like 36, 38%.
What happens if Trump loses?
It's America. It's a democracy. I do what, I hope then Kamala does the right thing. I want Trump to win.
I respect that so much. We're America.
I'm not going to...
We're not going to go to the Capitol and riot. Yeah.
I am not going to do that, no.
Yeah.
Democrat, Republic, or fascism. That's how you're voting.
Democratic, Republican. Wait, which one's fascism?
Fascism?
Not us.
Democrat.
You think Kamala's a socialist?
She's definitely a socialist.
She's a communist.
A communist?
Yes, and I'm here for the smaller rally down the street, just to set the record straight.
She was actually ranked the number one most socialist person in the country for 10 years in a row, and they removed her from the list when she was nominated for presidency.
Wow.
So
what's her most socialist policy?
I don't know, that's a good question. Quick, your turn.
I don't know.
Really quickly, what's your name first?
I'm Craig.
Craig.
Kathy.
Kathy. Two Kathys. So,
My daughter.
is your name Kathy as well?
No, it's Anne Marie.
Okay. So, John Kelly and I think one other person corroborated the story that Trump said he wants German generals. But the one thing that worried me is when Trump was asked about it, he said, I fired John Kelly because he was a weak general. And I feel like in my mind, that almost confirmed it because you're firing generals for not being loyal enough. Do you think that Trump values loyalty above merit sometimes?
No.
Really?
There's a difference between weakness and what you just said.
Who would want somebody on their team that isn't loyal? I mean, just flip the question. I mean,
no, that is very, very true. But the thing that happens with Trump is I'm pretty sure 80% of the people that worked with him during his first term have come out against him now. And we can look at Mike Pence. That's the obvious one. We can look at Mark Meadows was his lawyer. Maybe they weren't unloyal to Trump. Maybe Trump is the one. Have you ever heard the phrase where if you meet one asshole in the morning, then he's an asshole? But if you're meeting assholes all day, then maybe you're the one that's being the asshole? That's how I feel about Trump, right? Maybe if he fired one person, okay, that person sucked. But when everybody around him is coming out and saying, he's bad.
That's a mischaracterization when you say everybody around him.
Sorry, okay.
That's a pretty strong word.
I didn't mean to make it that broad, my bad.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, there are people that don't agree. There are people that don't agree with you or like you. There are people that don't agree with me or like me.
I like you, sir.
All right. However, when you look at Trump and getting back to what you just asked about loyalty versus getting things done, isn't it better to have a blend? Donald Trump is a no BS, get it done kind of guy. So people aren't used to somebody like that. We're used to mediocrity. And Donald Trump is not a mediocrity type of person.
What's at stake is that we may end up like present-day Venezuela. You first take away the guns, then you take away freedom of speech, and then it's a military dictatorship. That's what's at stake.
But do you think Kamala actually wants to take away people's guns? Because I hear that a lot, and I feel like Obama has even said this. No one wants to take away your guns. We just want common sense regulations.
They could say whatever they want. It starts with gun control, gun restriction, which I'm all for. I think we need, certain gun control limits. We need, psychological testing. We need background checks and all that.
Red flag laws.
I'm all for that. But there is some rhetoric where they really do want to just eliminate guns and take away guns. And, wouldn't you agree with that?
She flat out has different agreements in regards to taking guns away.
Her and Tim Walz own guns, I will say. I'm pretty sure they're both gun owners themselves.
Tim Walz just did a photo shoot and video shoot to make it appear like he did.
And he can't even hold the gun.
He couldn't even properly
He doesn't even
load
know
it
how
and
to hold the
shoot it.
gun.
I think there's a middle ground. I honestly think most Democrats don't want to come into your house and take your guns away. I think it's more what you said. So in Maine 2 years ago,
Well, let's take a step back. Let's talk about something that's really going on that's affecting the city, and that's illegal immigration, right? Kamala has been in presidency for 3.5 years now. She's saying once I am president or once I'm back in the White House, she's had the opportunity, and she was heading these past few years, that force, and she's literally, the Biden administration, especially at the earlier this year, they were going against Texas authorities, they were going against Border Patrol, they were pretty much putting them in jail for doing their job, for not protecting the borders.
We need to stand with our Israeli partners and brothers and sisters.
do you say the same with Ukraine?
Absolutely. Listen, we're all part of the race, the human race. So if we're all more mindful and respectful of each other, well, no matter what color you are or who you worship, if we all just looked at it from a perspective of we all share the same earth and we just all get along, everybody would be able to live their lives in a respectful kind of way.
I totally agree with that, but doesn't that go against how Trump calls us the enemy from within? He calls Democrats the enemy from within generally.
So there's evil all around. The devil does his best to turn people to do bad things. Not everybody is kind and considerate, and even though it's hopeful that people are kind and loving and supportive of each other, the reality is that's not how it is.
What do you guys think?
I think that there are different levels of morals in different groups of people, and some people will do anything to win, and some people will just work hard to win and stick to the rules. That's what I think.
I think that anybody that is going to sit up there and compare Trump to Hitler, I think it's pathetic.
Didn't J.D. Vance say the same thing about Trump might be America's Hitler a few years back?
Well, all I can say about J.D. Vance in that regard is that he did come out and he did say, I was wrong, and now he's come out 1,000%. And listen, I'm going to be honest, I did not vote for Trump. I said something else. I did not vote for Trump in the very beginning, but I learned my lesson big time. So now I'm definitely voting for Trump, and I am now an absolute registered almost said politician. Republican.
You're part of the deep state now.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys a genuine question, and this is I'm being genuine here. So my question to you is, number one, what is a tariff? And then number two, do you think Trump knows what a tariff is?
Trump is, first of all, a multi-billionaire. I think he knows a thing or two.
He doesn't seem like he knows.
He's got... Why? Why do you say that?
Because, number one, he lies through his teeth all the time. He said that the 2020 election was stolen through millions and millions of votes. That's not true. He lies and says the courts are after him. He lies and says Mike Pence is a traitor. When he gets on stage and he gaslights the crowd into thinking that we're taxing exports and other countries are paying for these taxes, he doesn't understand what tariffs are. So my question, I'm sorry, to make it concise.
In regards to the stolen election, why are there people who, not only Trump, but other people also, have not only said that the election possibly was stolen, but they have proof?
Who else other than Trump?
Well, there's Carrie Lake.
She's not trustable, though.
There's also doctors.
You want to know my problem with
this?
There's
also many different people, including whistleblowers who are electioneers, who talk about that.
Can I give you my problem with this?
Please.
So you have Trump, you have Carrie Lake, but when Trump took this evidence to 60 different courts, and a lot of these courts had Trump-appointed judges, when he took this evidence to 60 different courts, all those courts turned it down. They were Trump-appointed judges, absolutely, in Florida and others. And then when it comes to Carrie Lake, she took 6 cases in Arizona. Carrie Lake lost every single case.
They were the justices were people that were connected with Obama.
Yeah. Can I ask you about the tariffs really quickly? You said you want to talk anything economics. What do you think Trump's... Okay, I'll just ask you this. What is Trump's tariff plan?
I mean, he just recently announced it.
Can you name any of Trump's plans economically?
I'll just tell you what he recently announced. So he said he's going to eliminate federal income tax. Vice versa, he's going to apply tariffs.
So you think that's going to work? You realize when you tariff a company that American consumers pay for that, so that would increase the cost of things.
I'm an ex-Wall Street guy, and I know macro and microeconomics.
Okay, so then explain to me Trump's economic plan. How is this going to work?
It's multifaceted, right? In terms of like the collection of money, he's going to eliminate federal income tax and he's going to apply tariffs. So let's just talk about electric vehicles, for example, right? We have to focus on a specific product, right? So in this specific scenario I'm about to describe is, let's just say we're going to import, BYD vehicles and Xiaomi vehicles and whatnot from China, right? And these are because of the Chinese manufacturing powerhouse. They're able to produce things extremely cheap. Even if they produce a $15,000 vehicle and Trump applies, let's just say, 100% tariff, that vehicle will be $30,000, which is still absolutely affordable for your average American, okay?
So you're okay with Trump doubling the price of the cars?
I'm not saying I'm okay with it. I'm just clearly outlining what the specific situation is.
Okay, but that's not what Trump says. What Trump says is that China is paying the tariffs, and that's not right.
Right. I'm talking about this electric
And
vehicle.
you think China's paying these tariffs? That's what you think. Tell me if you think that or not. Yes or no?
Well,
really quick.
first of all, it's not even enacted yet, so we cannot say Chinese paying it yet.
If
But
an
again,
export tariff was enacted,
let's
would
just do
China pay it?
simple
You
math.
won't answer.
I'm just.
Would China pay it? Trump says China will pay it.
It doesn't matter when you put in tariffs.
I
it
missed up
doesn't
one
matter.
term, and that was your gotcha. But you can't tell me if Trump knows what a tariff is. Will China pay the export tax?
Well, it doesn't matter if they pay or not. When you put in when you put in a tariff, you're establishing certain conditions.
You're trying to disincentivize other countries from engaging in certain action. Well, can I ask you, do you think the 2020 election was stolen?
Oh, yes, absolutely was. Yeah.
What's your biggest piece of proof?
The biggest piece of proof, I would be the way that the legislatures made law and it wasn't followed. The law wasn't followed. Constitutionally, the state legislators make election law.
Keep up with the crowd. Great chatting.
Of the brave.